What is going on, guys? It's your boy Chris here. I am back with another video. Obviously, I think everybody knows what this is going to be. I finally saw Deadpool and Wolverine last night, or yesterday afternoon, whatever you want to call it. And needless to say, it was great. It was fantastic. It was probably it's one of the funniest movies I've seen all year, and it was just great. There's a lot to unpack with it. So there's a lot to unpack with it and stuff like that. So I'm just going to get right into it. There will be spoilers. This movie's been out for 3 weeks at this point. It's made $1 billion already. If you haven't seen it by now, it's on you. I'm going to get to spoilers here. By now, you've probably heard about who's in it and stuff like that, just because of, like, people who were in the movie have been talking about it all over the place. Like, unless you've been living under a fucking rock somewhere. So, needless to say, like, there were a ton of cameos in this movie, and it was very, very fun to watch. It was actually a really good movie, on top of just being just fun. It was great. I loved it. I had a great time with it. My wife was laughing with me, like, she loved it. So that's all that matters, really. Is if you go into it expecting to have a good time, you're gonna have a good time with it. You can't take it too seriously, it's Deadpool, for fuck's sake. If you go into it and you take your kids, like, you're asking for trouble. It is R-rated for a reason. I don't know what else to tell you. It's not kid friendly. There's a lot of adult humor in it. There's a lot of, like, jokes that are inappropriate for kids. Again, you go into that movie knowing what you're getting. If you haven't seen the other two Deadpool movies, go watch them first. You don't necessarily need to see them, but you should watch them just because they're fun and they're good movies. Anyway, now to get into spoiler territory in 3, 2, 1. So, needless to say, there were a ton of cameos in this. The funniest one being from Chris Evans. At one point, you're thinking he's a certain other Marvel character he played, and even Deadpool's like, oh shit, it's that guy. And he is a different character that Chris Evans played in another Marvel movie. Even at one point, he's gonna say it, and he just goes, "Flame on!" And he's like, "What the fuck?" And everybody kind of realizes, oh shit, it's not Captain America, it's Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four. And it was great. And it was funny because he literally, like, you think he's got, like, the red like glove type things on, and you're like, oh shit, it's Captain America. And he's wearing a blue outfit that you can't see everything on it. So you're like, oh shit, they got Chris Evans to play Captain America. And when he's just flame on, you're like, oh my god, they got him to come back as Johnny Storm. And he just gets his ass kicked. And it was so great by Pyro. Like, he gets, like, lands his nuts on this thing, this, like, fucking thing, and just falls, and, like, I thought he was dead. Like, oh shit, is he dead? Turned out he wasn't dead yet. Like, he doesn't last long in this movie, but, and the way he dies is pretty fucking brutal, but it pays off at the end of the movie. Like, don't leave during the credits. It's another thing. Don't leave during the credits. There's a really cool nod to the history of Fox with the X-Men films and all the other movies they've done, like Daredevil and Elektra and Deadpool and Fantastic Four. Like, there's a lovely little tribute to at the end of the movie to the Fox franchises that was really, really cool to see, because you see a lot of behind the scenes stuff for them, like, laughing with each other, like the cast laughing and having a good time. And that was really cool to see that. And you see them kind of doing little interviews here or there, like how they were happy to be a part of it. And you can see that these people genuinely loved doing what they were doing at the time. The results were what they were with a lot of these movies, but I mean, like, it doesn't matter. Like, they still... 20th Century Fox and the X-Men and these movies had a history. A lot of it wasn't as bad as people make it out to be. Like, the Fantastic Four films, that the first two that came out, were fun movies. The X-Men movies were hit or miss a lot of times, but they were, for the most part, enjoyable. Daredevil, I actually have a soft spot for Daredevil. I think Ben Affleck was really good in Daredevil and stuff like that, so... and stuff like that. And they gave these actors something... the actors that showed up, they gave them a wonderful send-off in a lot of ways. They got their moment in the sun. And it was really cool to see. And like, Chris Evans was just a fun one. But Jennifer Garner coming in as Elektra, Channing Tatum finally getting to play Gambit, even though, like, I didn't understand, like, 90% of what he was fucking saying, because he was overdoing the Cajun accent. Like, he was saying stuff like, and I'm like, what the fuck did he just say? And even Deadpool's like, can you run that back in slow motion? What the fuck did you just say? Like he didn't understand him. It was like the scene where he says, like, oh, you know how long I've been waiting for this? I'm about to make a name for myself right here. Like, you could see, like, in his eyes, like, he really has been dying to do this. And Channing Tatum's done interviews where he's like, Gambit's my favorite character. I really wanted to play this role. So, him getting to finally play Gambit and actually having a pretty cool moment in the movie with the cards and his staff and just handling his business. It was cool to see him finally get the chance to play Gambit. Daphne Keane coming back as X-23 was fucking great. Of course, because it's X-23. You know, she was great. She did what she did. And, you know, the talk she had with Wolverine about, you know, because this Wolverine that Hugh Jackman plays is, like, racked with all this fucking guilt. Because he didn't feel like he was an X-Man. And when he was out drinking and getting shit-faced, the X-Men were all killed. And he went on this berserker rage and, like, killed, like, a ton of people. And he wears his costume he wears is kind of a reminder of what he should have been. Not what he is. Because he's like, I'm not a hero. You got the wrong guy. I'm not Wolverine. And when she says to him, that's the thing, you never were the right guy. But you were the guy. And it kind of, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm gonna relate to some real life shit, you know? I've always doubted, like, myself as a stepfather or as a godfather. Like, I don't know why I was asked to be any of these things. Like, I doubt myself every day. I don't know what I'm doing. And I remember asking my boy Rick, who I'm his kid's godfather, like, you could have asked anybody to be, like, that guy. Why me? And he's like, because you're the one guy I know that if something happened to me or their mom, that you would do whatever it took to, you know, to be there. Are you the perfect guy? Fuck no. But you're you. And that's all that you need to be. And I was like, I don't get it, but I get it. So that's kind of where she was kind of saying to Logan, like this version of Logan. Oh, special shout out to another version of Wolverine that was in this movie that was so cool. He got his own name in the credits. The Cavalverine, as they called him. Because yes, Henry Cavill does a cameo as a version of Wolverine, to where my wife and I were like, you know what? If they got him to take over for Hugh Jackman, I would be all for that shit. And legit, I would be down with Henry Cavill being the new Wolverine. Like, he's got the look. He showed in that little bit of a scene, he's got the attitude to play it. Like, he puts his all into these roles when he's given them. And even though it was like a 2-minute scene, like, you could see him just like, yeah, I can see this dude doing this. And they had Old Man Logan, too. Like, a comic accurate Old Man Logan, where he's sitting on a porch with a shotgun and just blast Deadpool. But Henry Cavill's little cameo as a version of Wolverine was, like, really cool. So that was cool. But the coolest cameo in this movie, hands down, is the return of Wesley Snipes as Blade. Let it be said right now, without Wesley Snipes in the Blade movies, none of this shit with the MCU is happening right now. None of it's happening without Blade, because Blade was the first one to come out that did the shit right. He was Blade. Wesley Snipes, he had a line in the movie where he was like, I'm the only Blade there is. I'm the only Blade there's ever going to be. Like, yeah, I can see people believe in that. Now, he himself has said that he wishes Mahershala Ali nothing but the best. He hopes that the movie does well. But if they scrap his movie, that Blade movie they were working on, and just bring back Wesley Snipes, I don't think anybody would be fucking mad about it at all. Yes, he's in his 60s. Yes, he's not in the shape he once was in, and it'd be hard for him to get back into the shape he was in when he played Blade originally. No, he cannot do a lot of the stuff he was able to do back then. It was like 20, 30 years ago. Okay? And even as fast as Wesley was back in the day, like, everybody slows down. Time is undefeated. But if he were to come back as Blade, I don't think anybody would be mad about that shit whatsoever. I damn sure wouldn't. I love those movies growing up. They were great. And, like, he was great as Blade. Like, he was a bad motherfucker. Even as he said, like, always some motherfuckers are trying to ice skate uphill. Like, it was great. Like, he was great. But these cameos were just fun nods to the past of, like, these movies that Fox did. And at the heart of it all, like, this movie was a big send-off for the 20th Century Fox X-Men movies and all those films. It was a way to kind of say, you know, goodbye to those characters and stuff like that. Even though, like, Deadpool and... Oh, and they had a Deadpool battle with, like, hundreds of Deadpool variants. That was great. Including Nicepool, which was, like, Ryan Reynolds with, like, flowing hair and, like, fucking, like, just perfectly, like, perfect suit and everything. And then you find out he didn't have a healing factor because he didn't regenerate because he's perfect as he is. He just gets... Like, it was great. So yeah, like he gets fucked up. Like he gets killed. And there's Dogpool, which is like this ugly ass dog. But apparently the dog is such a sweetheart that it was so endearing that how Deadpool was like, I love this dog. And even Hugh Jackman, even Wolverine's like, what the fuck? You were so gross. This dog is so gross. Get it away from me. But yeah, and the villain of the movie is really, I mean, there are two. There's Mr. Paradox, who's just a douchebag B-villain, and then there's Cassandra Nova, who, if you know the comics, you know Cassandra Nova is not to be played with. Like, she was on some next level power shit, like putting her hands in people's heads and searching their brains. And it was so gross, man. It was like uncomfortable what she was doing to people. Like, it was just crazy. But yeah, so this movie was great. I cannot say enough. Like, it was just amazing. And it's worth going to see. I would go see it again. That's how much I enjoyed it. I actually want to go see it again. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I do want to go see it again. I loved it that much. It was that much fun. So, 2 thumbs up, 10 out of 10. Whatever you want to call it. It is great. I hate using the word great because Tony Khan says it all the time, but this movie was great. You know what I'm saying? It was a good movie. It was a really good, fun movie where you can forget about all the bullshit for a couple hours, enjoy life. Found out something about my wife during the trailers, though. Apparently, she does not like the Alien movies any more than I do. She gets grossed up by them just like I do. Because they played the Alien Romulus trailer. And, like, I've always said that they creep me out. Like, I'm creeped out by, like, shit, like, living in your body and coming out. Ever since I was a kid, like, I've always been freaked out by, like, parasites and stuff like that. Like, I had a science teacher tell me, like, the way to get rid of a tapeworm. And ever since then, I've never drinking milk straight ever again. I just don't do it because of that. Because I'm afraid, like, if I have a tapeworm and I get a glass of milk, it'll jump into the milk out of my mouth. And that's, like, just... I'm dead serious. Like, this shit fucked me up for life. This teacher was like, so if you have a tapeworm, don't eat for a couple days and then get a bowl of milk. And open your mouth and it'll come out of your mouth and go into the bowl. But make sure you get the head out, just regrow. And I was like, I'm never drinking milk ever the fuck again. Out of a carton, out of a glass, I'm done. No more milk for the kid. For your boy. I'm just done. I will take calcium pills or something like that, but I will never drink milk straight again. And to this day, I have not touched a straight glass of milk. I will not do it. I won't do it. I won't drink milk straight ever again. Like, it left that much of a bad taste in, and it just creeped me out that much. So, I know it's probably stupid to even think that, but it just fucked me up. I was like, no, I'm done. So, yeah. I don't drink milk for that reason. Alien creeps me the fuck out. Deadpool Wolverine, go see that shit right now. You will not regret it. If you're mad about spoilers, I don't know what to tell you. Movie's been out for 3 weeks at this point. I usually do like a 2-week embargo when spoiling shit. It's been 3 weeks. I've been cool enough to stay away from all that. But there's spoilers out there everywhere now, and everyone's probably seen them, so it's not my fault. Oh, and shout out to the guy who did the dancing to Bye 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 at the beginning of the movie, because that is one of the greatest opening scenes to a movie that I've ever seen. One, the use of the Wolverine skeleton to massacre a bunch of TVA agents was brilliant, but doing it to Bye 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 by NSYNC, just, I can't even, and like I said, to even be doing the dance, the bye 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 dance in the scene while he's murdering people was just like, what is happening right now? Right? So yeah, like I said, go see this movie. Show Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and all the cast that you appreciate the work they put into this, and everybody over at Marvel for making this happen. Because everybody, when they got the hold of Fox, was worried about how are they going to do another Deadpool movie. They showed you that they're going to do it the way that it needed to be done. And if this movie, with this movie making the money it's making, it shows Marvel that you can go into the R-rated territory and make more mature stuff. As long as it's entertaining and it's good, you can get away with making a more mature film. And that's what's important here. Okay? You can handle mature topics and mature themes and make it work without undercutting everything else you've done before. Like, you can handle more mature subjects, or, you know, just even more mature humor, like they did here, because there were a lot of jokes in this movie about, like, pegging and stuff like that. Like, Ryan Reynolds just has no filter, and I don't know, like he was just like, if it's my last time playing Deadpool, I'm going for it. I'm going for the gold. And he just said, I'm going for it. And he did. And it worked. And so credit to him for... And let's be clear, like, without Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool doesn't happen. Because I think we all know who leaked that test footage now. And I think we know it was Ryan Reynolds. It's safe to say it was him. I think he's even said, like, some douchebag named Ryan Reynolds released the test footage and got Fox to make the movie in the first place. So he's even said, like, yeah, it was me. I did that shit. And thank you for doing it. Because without that test footage leaking, it would have never got the ball rolling on to a Deadpool movie. And it never would have happened. We would have never got Hugh Jackman back as Logan one last time. Without Ryan Reynolds. If this is even Hugh Jackman's last time. Like, I hope they're in Secret Wars. I know Secret Wars is coming up in a couple years. I hope Hugh Jackman does it, and that's his send-off. But if this is his send-off, then Hugh, thank you for 20 plus years of giving us 20 plus years of giving us Wolverine. He wasn't the first choice. But he was the right guy for the job. And he wound up proving that over the course of all these X-Men movies, his own solo movies, and everything. He proved it. Hugh Jackman has been the guy. He has been the man. He didn't have to come back for this movie. He didn't have to do this. But he did. So, you know, it's hats off to him and Ryan Reynolds. And hats off to all the other people who came in and did their cameos. Hats off to Chris Evans. Hats off to Jennifer Garner. Hats off to Channing Tatum for finally getting to play Gambit. Hats off to Daphne Keane for coming back. And then hats off to Wesley Snipes, who never thought he would play Blade again. But when he got the call, you know, he answered it. He heard what they wanted to do, and it was cool to just see him back again. Because he is the godfather of all these movies. It's him and Tobey Maguire. Him, Tobey Maguire, and Hugh Jackman are like the godfathers of all of these movies. Actually, Chris Evans too, because he was in that Fantastic Four movie. Those four guys, Jennifer Garner gets a role in there too because of Daredevil. and Elektra. So those movies kind of set the stage for the MCU that we have now. Without those movies and the success that some of them had, we would not have the MCU as it stands today. So the Fox movies, the Blade movies, the Raimi Spider-Man movies, all of those movies paved the way for the MCU to be where it is now. Even Ang Lee's Hulk movie. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but Ang Lee's Hulk movie paved the way for the MCU to do what it's doing now. So without them, we don't have this today. We owe those actors, your Wesley Snipes, your Tobey Maguire, your Ben Afflecks, your Jennifer Garners, your Hugh Jackmans, your Patrick Stewarts, your Chris Evanses, Ian Gruffold, Michael Chiklis, Jessica Alba, Julian McMahon. We owe, like, those actors, Willem Dafoe, Kirsten Dunst, all those actors that played in those movies, we owe them a debt, because without them, we're not where us comic book fans who love this stuff, we're not eating like we're eating right now without them. Hell, go back to Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeve. Like, those guys. We're not having these movies right now without the roads that those actors paved by taking these roles and making them work. So, you know, this movie was a love letter to those actors and stuff like that. And it was beautiful to see them get that day. Get that spotlight. It was good to see Channing Tatum finally play Gambit. It was good to see X-23 come back. It was good to see... It was fun seeing, like, Vinnie Jones' Juggernaut. That shit was hilarious. Him coming back. Tyler Mane as Sabretooth. Like, I can't remember the kid's name. The guy that played Pyro. He came back. Shawn Ashmore. I think it is Shawn Ashmore. Come back as Pyro. The guy who played Azazel coming back. Like, it was cool to see, like, so many of these people come back. Even if they were only there for a brief moment. It was just fun seeing them there. You know, it was just fun seeing them like, yo, this dude really wearing the Juggernaut. It's the Juggernaut, bitch! Like, it was great seeing that. So, it was just fun to see those actors get another chance to do it. And it was great to see them all come back and do their thing. And that's all I gotta say about it, man. Really, like, it was fun. It was a good movie. It was fun to see some of these people come back and do their thing one more time. It was especially fun for Chris Evans. Like, that post-credit scene had me fucking dying. like Chris Evans, like, I forgot he's from Boston. But when he's in that scene talking, like, you see the Boston come out of it, his accent come out. And he's just like, because Ryan's like, I'm sick of people saying I got him killed. Here's your proof. Fuck you. And you play this audio of Chris Evans and he's just ripping Cassandra Nova a new one. And it was so funny to hear him going off like that. Like I said, you have to see it to believe it because it's so funny. Like, this movie was so fucking good, man. I cannot say it enough. Like, it was just fun. And at a time where we could use some fun, this brought it. So I highly recommend this movie. Go see it. You'll like it. Anyway, that's all I've got for this one. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Go see this movie. Peace.